Hey, welcome back to CGN. It's Bobby G. I'm here today interviewing with Jieni Li, prominent young professional who just turned pro and won her first tournament. Jieni, thank you so much for joining us today and speaking with us about your career and what your plans are in the future.
Thank you so much for inviting me for today's interview. I don't know. Right now, I'm just trying to prep for the upcoming Epson exemption that I got. So that's so far what I've got, and looking forward to that. I've been into Kansas only once, so it'd be a good opportunity to explore around the area and see what we got there. For the course is sticky and windy, so closer to what we have in Illinois.
For sure. So let's just back up a little bit, Jieni, and just talk a little bit about,
Yeah.
we'll come back to where you're at now, where you're going. But tell us a little bit about like how you got started in golf and what got you kind of hooked on the game.
It's honestly a really random opportunity, because when I was in, like, my 6th or 7th years old, I started actually playing piano the first that's, like, my first hobby ever, and then my dad, in order to have me, like, study more professionally, he runs, like, a piano academy, and he was looking for, like, places to host, like, openings for, like, just families and children, whoever are interested in to come and study with us. So then he was looking at like arenas and stuff. And then he popped into this golf course that happened to have like a ballroom. So then we're like, since we're here already, why not try it out? And then the moment we got into it, he's like, honestly, this is a perfect sport for you. It doesn't require you to be like so tired out every day. And you get to like be outdoor instead of like staying like, you know, arena or something that you don't get to exposure to the nature as much. And then plus the time I was having like a really bad eyesight by like just sitting in front of the piano. And so he's like, this is a great opportunity. So then I started picking it up. And then I had my first like junior event maybe in when I was like 9th or even maybe before that. I probably shot like 150 something. I know that my mom knows like what exactly I shot, but I did not want to remember that, so I kind of just erased it in my memory. And then I realized I'm pretty competitive, so I wanted to like pursue a more competitive route instead of just having it as a hobby. So then after that, we kind of like decided that we're gonna put more time invested in there, and I started from there.
Now, where was that? What area were you in? What geographically, where were you when that started?
I was back at home in China, and the city's name is called Nanchang. And then afterwards, I kind of moved to a different city called Hangzhou to pursue like better education and better like golf coaching and stuff like that. So golf kind of
Obviously,
changed my life from there. Sorry.
that's such a great story. I've never heard a connection between piano and golf. You are absolutely original in that regard. So you
Thanks.
crushed that one. So you started at a young age, and sooner than later you realized that 150 wasn't a good score. So how'd you get better, Jieni? What did you do? Tell us about
Um,
who taught you the game, and what got you kind of really psyched to think that maybe you'll hopefully play collegiate golf and then maybe become a pro.
you know what's so funny is like I feel like since I was a kid, I had some sort of a connection to Northwestern because at the time I just started, it was like the time the Tiger and Look was peaking, and then I remember I read one of those magazine that Luke Donald was on the page of the magazine, and it was like him, the world number one, blah blah blah. And then at the time, I think my dad was the one. He's like, "You want to be like some people like that," and he, for some reason, he still like believes that I have like some sort of ability or talent in the sport. So then he really helped me to be like persistent this whole entire time, even though like I probably want to quit when I was a little kid, like for like 100 times. And he's still the one who like trying to like tell me how important it is to like stick with something you've picked and then like try it out until like you're at your limit. And so I feel like he's a pretty important person in this whole journey. And then my mom as well, who's been the one supporting me, traveling with me the whole route. Because I feel like without my parents, I probably wouldn't even be here at this moment. Like they're the one who's kind of like helping me to keep track with it and then keep going.
I you already took away one of my questions because as a parent, I always encourage the players to shout out to their parents. You just crushed that one. I didn't even need to ask it. So obviously they did a great job raising you, and you're beyond thoughtful and kind to already mention them in the first couple minutes of the interview. So hats off to you. Kudos
Thanks.
for saluting them and showing your love and appreciation. Obviously, it's a huge commitment. I know you spent a lot of time with your father. Is your mother here in the States?
She's not. She's currently back at home, taking care of my grandparents because they're in their little like aging period of time. So she wanted to kind of like at least one of my parents will be staying back with them. So then
Great.
they got good care. And my mom was with me for like last year in the summer. So I thought it'd be nice to switch it up a little bit. And I feel like my dad overall is a more like sensitive person, golf in general, and he has a lot of good insights, even though sometimes it doesn't come off in the most like smooth or soft way. But we do fight a lot on course, like all the
Yeah.
time. But I feel like once you think through it, it's pretty helpful. So
Good. Well,
that's why I thought to have him over.
well, you're very lucky that you have, someone that you can be so close to and trust, but also have that direct openness where you can respectively share your opinion, because obviously you are very, very talented and you've learned from some of the great names in golf and watched a lot of golf and practiced your heart out. So I'm glad to hear that's going well. So let's talk a little bit about your junior career, if you don't mind, a little bit about before college, and then let's talk about Northwestern after that.
Yeah. Um, Junior golf has been away from me for a while, but looking back to it, I feel like I was pretty fortunate because I kind of like got into every single tournament I needed at the right timing. But what's like a little, not that I regret on it, but it just like looking back at it, I don't feel like I've won a lot of it. I'm always like close but not close enough. So I wish I've had like a better or like more glorified I don't know, junior career compared to like a lot of players who are in like college golf. And plus like I spent my like first I came over during like high school, but only for the summer to compete. So then I spent like most of the time competing China or like Hong Kong areas that are closer to us. So it's not as competitive, I'd say. I've won like decent, like won or like get rewards for decent amount of them, but I wouldn't think I was like the best out of the best, just even just in the China, like inside of China. But I feel like really was motivating me was just like thinking that I'm close enough, like I'm still there. So I feel like that's just like my junior career. Not so good, but it was also not too bad. I think about it, it's like it gave me confidence from there. You just had to like accumulate a step at a time.
Yep. And then how did you, I mean, we talked earlier about Northwestern, but did you look at any other schools, or that's all the only place you wanted to go?
I think so. That's why I said I got lucky because I was pretty late into the process of applying to or like just overall to join a golf team. And then fortunately, like Northwestern kind of recruit a little later than other teams. And then I actually met Pat through this summer camp back in China. And that's actually his first time visited too. So then he and I had this connection, and he's like, "Oh, you're actually a good player, but you have to meet all the academic requirements. So I'm gonna introduce like Coach and Beth to you." So then I got their connection that way, and then I came over the first summer of my high school, competed in like IMG, like Western and all those amateur events. So they were able to see me like play some golf and decided to like, hey, we would actually love to have you join the team. So that's kind of the route. It was really like out of nowhere, I would say that. Like I wasn't hoping for like a good team or great team. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna try my best because I made that decision kind of late. And I'm just like, okay, we can do something to start with and I'll transfer as I get better. But then Northwestern kind of gave me the I don't know, it's just, like, super lucky there, and they're
You,
nice people.
you hit the jackpot. Just a shout out to Coach M.
Yeah,
Selfishly, she's one of my favorite coaches. I said this to you, Coach M. I know you're going to watch this, and next time I see you, you're going to give me a big hug. But as always, but you are the best. You're going to be in the Women's Coaches Hall of Fame for college golf.
she's definitely gonna be there.
She's a super class act, and I can't say enough great things about her. And the fact that she recruits talented young women like you and others and winning the NCAA last year, she's awesome. And you're beyond blessed and lucky to have spent time with her. And you know that, but I know that she appreciates when things like this come back to her, because she's a big believer and that good things happen to good people, from my understanding. So,
For sure.
so you've had a lot of great teammates, great karma. I know how close you all are. Let's talk a little bit about, graduation and then what you did during that year, getting ready to turn pro.
Overall, getting off from the team and then heading to a journey that's mostly alone or solo, kind of sad. Like I love all of my teammates, and then me and Jennifer were the two who graduated the same year, but she decided not to pursue professional career at the time. So then it was just kind of like me by myself. But um, I don't know if you know Irene Kim. She graduated the year before me, and then she won a lot of things when I just got on the team at freshman year. And then she's kind of like the role model. I look at it like all the time when I just started college career. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to see like if I can travel with her and like, play tournaments and stuff. And then we ended up like being together. We roomed together at the Q school last year. And so like she's also been like kind of the one. And this year I had Lauren Wynn, but overall last year just try to like try it out, see how it goes, what I need to improve on, like how actually the professional world is, because it's like you've always watched those LPGA tournaments but you've never actually been there yourself. Because before I had into college, I played a lot of CLPGA events back home, but I think it's like the environment is pretty different. And then not that it's not a real deal, but as an amateur there's just like no stress, no pressure on your shoulder, doesn't need to think about money at all. But when it's like actually this is your job, this is where you're gonna be living on, it's pretty serious. And then you have to really be focused instead of get distracted by all the thoughts. So I feel like that's the kind of the main perspective I had, is like try to focus on golf, dig in. And one thing I always remember Pat Goss told me, it's like you have to give it all in. You can't just like decide it, like, because I had a conversation with him. It's like, oh, how bad would that be if I decided to do 2 years or 3 years of professional life, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna back out and do like grad schools and go back to the office. And he's like, a lot of people do that, but it's not the right way to think about it, because you're not gonna go all in at the time. You're eventually gonna quit, that you're not gonna give as much of an investment into it. Like just talking about like how much you practice, like how serious you treat the shot and stuff like that. So I feel like that's always been the trigger I had at the moment, and decided like, okay, we're gonna actually like think this is us, like my future. Everything is gonna be on this deal. And then after that, I feel like it was super worth it. Even though I didn't make into Epson this year, but I feel like all the journeys like meant to happen, and it's meant to for me to experience.
So is that a message that you're sharing then with young college golfers that want to turn pro? Like, is that you think that is really sage advice that you got from Coach Goss, who's awesome as well?
Yes. I think it's like you have to obviously like Coach M and like Beth would say the same thing to anyone else. They're all on the same line. Like I feel like everyone on the team, or like who work for the program, would agree with that. It's like you have to be all in and be ready. And every putt matters. Like you're here to, on our yardage book, he says like you're here to play great, not to like, finish second or stuff.
Right. So let's talk about your first big win in Colorado. If you could talk a little bit about that round. And I think your father was on your bag. So how awesome was that experience? Tell us about that.
It was actually my first time playing this kind of elevation. So it was pretty surprising. I at the practice round, I didn't think I would do that great. Like the practice round, I was struggling to do the math, and then the greens were firm. Everything was releasing like so far. So I was like, okay, let's just get on the green. Let's just play it easy. And this is probably the only week I didn't think about like, hey, I need to play great to win. I'm just kind of like, let's just play golf here. Let's just like try to enjoy it as much. The course is great. So I'm just like, okay. And then the lead happened at the second round. It was just out of nowhere because I was going kind of in a good vibe. So I feel like, okay, I'm gonna shoot like a couple under, so that I bet there's gonna be more people shooting under today. But it turns out there isn't that many low numbers in the second round. So then I was like, okay, I guess I'll take the lead. But at that point, I still didn't think much. And the third round kind of got me, even though I still had not like kind of sort of a low number, like 70 out of 72 into the clubhouse. It's just like not the round. I was missing a lot of putts. I was leaving a lot of things short. So then the night before the last round, me and my dad actually had a kind of a talk, a little bit of a fight, just going through the mindset of like what possibly would happen tomorrow, winning or losing by what ways, what kind of mistakes, what kind of mindset I could possibly have. And I feel like that was the kind of the turning point. If I would never had that talk with him, I probably would like lose my mind, of course, because I haven't been like going through any of these moments for so long. And then whenever I played in like kind of the last group or so in college, I kind of just like lose it or lose my focus instead of enjoying the golf. I just kind of like all just stuck in the head of thinking of like, oh, I'm gonna like something bad is gonna happen. So then that talk really relieved my mind and it just tried to like enjoy the game as much.
So,
And even when I like three putt, I would like laugh about it.
so if I heard you correctly, so you decided the night before, and this is maybe something you want to share, that you wanted to get rid of all the negative energy that was in the past. We're going to a last round, we win the lead, and you know what? I'm just going to go play golf tomorrow and play great, win or lose. I'm not going to focus on the outcome. Am I saying that in the right way?
Yes, because I just feel like either way, it's gonna be a good experience. You're always gaining some stuff through it, like through playing in the last group, through like playing with these great players who are gonna put pressure on your shoulder. So like thinking of that and then just trying to like enjoy the course as much. So like then you're not thinking about like, oh, what I'm shooting. Am I getting a birdie? Am I losing like a shot of lead or some stuff like that?
Do you find yourself, Jieni, trying intentionally to slow things down on that last round and not rush as much and not think too much, and or like can you let us get inside your head a little bit, like what are you thinking about in terms of once you're out there with the lead, and what's your mindset you know in that regard?
So I actually started the round with a bogey at a kind of an easy par four, and I feel like that was actually a good thing to slow my pace down. When I get nervous, I do like really rush and everything. Even when I walk, I'm kind of like walking ahead of everyone. So then I paid a lot of attention of like my pace of play, and what I'm doing with the shots too, just try to visualize it as vivid as you can. Try to like see it in your eyes because I had a lot of lag putts in the last round. So I just like try to see the line, see the break, feel the speed. And then I do play kind of slow at the last round too, just intentionally. So then I'm not like, you know, just going with the flow. I'm more intentional with things. And that helped. And my dad and I kind of talks around like things that are not related to the golf when we're like chatting so then I don't get into it too much. And I did like do one thing special is that normally when I had like crowds watching, I like look around and then like make contact and stuff like that. But the last one I intentionally like just kind of look down when I walk around them so that I'm not like too kind of like a people person talking to them and get distracted. Yeah.
That's so great. That's just such great advice. Well, I do have to ask you a very serious question. What is your favorite karaoke song?
Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to Chainsmokers concert tomorrow, so I'd say like their song "Closer" would be one because
Okay.
that's the first one I got addicted, and it's pretty popular, so people
Okay.
would all go sing along with you.
So our person in charge of social media is actually compiling a list of all the top karaoke songs from all 25 or 27 interviews we've done. So that one will be on there. We'll see how that one does in the poll. And last question. So obviously you have some confidence now. You're feeling really good about your game. Just tell us a little bit about like what's next. I know you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but what are you practicing for now, and when can everyone watch you next play?
Um, I'm playing the Epson tournament in Kansas, Garden City next, and what I'm mostly focusing on when I'm practicing is just kind of like my long game and putting, because I feel like those two are the most like the biggest component of my game. And then once these two are like pretty stabilized, consistent, then my short game can kind of like come out of like handy when I need it. But my short game isn't really my strength, so I'm just trying to like have it every day. But then the strengths is always like my long game. So just that's like my biggest focus, and then obviously short putts.
Great. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you so much again. We're big fans of you and big fans of Northwestern. Huge fans of Coach Goss. Huge fans of Sam McKinney. Huge fans of Tim Strang. Huge fans, above all, Coach M. Big shout out to the entire, coaching team there and staff, and of course, Coach Engels. And really proud of you. I know NU is really proud of you. We're big fans. And we, like I said at the beginning, we're all about promoting college golf and then following those golfers and those teams that we really like as they make it on to the professional tour. So thank you again for taking the time. Again, this was all about you, and I hope this interview helps you in advancement of your career and building your personal brand. And all those sponsors out there that are watching this interview, Jieni Li, let's go.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's actually my first, besides the interview I had at the tournament, this is actually my first official one. So
good. Well, you
go Cats!
Go Cats! Let's go.